This is Excalibur Heavy Battlecruiser, also known as Recruit 75. And I'm here to show off Nova Drift, which is a game I stated I would play and show off back when I announced that I would take a leaf from Chicken Invaders universe. If you don't know, Nova Drift is a roguelite, like space shooter. It's a roguelite space shooter where you can obtain mods by leveling up. The mods can be synergized with and can lead to many unique combinations and many interesting builds. And that's the appeal. And I gotta say, there are many cool builds in this game. Not only that, the enemies in this game are also pretty cool. And so is the soundtrack, the visual effects, the audio. They're all pretty cool. And it's why I'm a big fan of this game. And without any further ado, let's get started. Now, as a thank you to my 400 subscriber special, I'm going to do what is arguably my favorite build in Nova Drift. Now, newcomers to Nova Drift will not understand how to make this build, but if you manage to pause and check up the mod screen, then you might be able to copy it. The build in question is barrage flak. But not just any barrage flak, it is Firefly barrage flak. With rapid reconstruction, solar heart, which leads to a lot of DPS. Since we're going rapid reconstruction, we're not gonna go for any shields. Thankfully, we got Firefly on first try. Now, if you noticed, the resolution of this game is a little bit blurry, and that's actually a modification to the game code or something like that, whatever. It's not actually a game code modification, it's a Windows setting you can apply to applications, which downscales them, and it makes them blurry, but the thing runs faster. Now I'm actually gonna level up for Ataraxia, so I need 4 upgrade points. Just kill these guys. You know what, I'm actually gonna stock up for 5 levels. And this is the first boss of this game, Spitfire. Now there is an alternative version in the newest beta version, which I'm actually playing right now. Spitfire is possibly the weakest boss. It is actually thought of to be the weakest boss. There's really no competition in it being the weakest boss, really. In any case, we should obtain these experience points. Okay, they're disappearing on me. Let me get volley. Now this is grandeur, and it makes me larger, slower, less agile, but it grants me 2 levels, and I do get extra crash damage, although that's really not gonna be too helpful on me. These mods, aside from improved thrusters, are not really useful. I'm still gonna take improved thrusters just because it increases my mobility. And rapid fire is a must because I need burst fire to unlock barrage. Unfortunately, I still haven't unlocked Ataraxia. The main reason I want to go for Ataraxia is because it's because of the increased orb attraction range. Basically, orbs orbs come to you better when you have Ataraxia. It's like an enhanced magnet to a spacecraft which already has a magnet, but it's kinda weak. So I like taking Ataraxia. It also gives me a bunch of bonuses whenever I stock up on levels. In fact, the bonuses actually get pretty insane once you get to higher numbers. When you exceed 20, you get a straight up hyper boost, and that lasts pretty much forever until the end of the run. So all in all, I'd say it's a worthwhile mod. And by the way, this is one of the first times where I'm actually using my voice to narrate the gameplay. I am kind of nervous actually when it comes to using my voice in gameplay, because I fear that my wording, my speech, isn't as good as it used to be, because I really do not talk to people too much. So yeah, expect some grammatical spelling mistakes down the line. I'm gonna try to refine that, but I don't have much guarantees. I already made a grammatical mistake. In any case, stabilization. Okay, kinda made a blunder there by missing out on hypermetabolism. And these mods are really not too great. I mean, Defiance is okay, but I'd rather get Obsession first and then go on Defiance. Power Reserves, on the other hand, is good. Revelation is very good. All Strength is also pretty good. Because we're going for Rapid Reconstruction, I'm gonna go for Absorption. And I guess Force Armor, because it will reduce damage to your hull. And I do like that. Okay, that was a pretty drastic comet hit, and this is a friggin' Champion Celestial. Not a Celestial Tracer. Goddamn, I'm mixed up on the enemies as well. Agility is also very good. I like to turn around fast, and there's Focus Fire, which is one of the prerequisites for Barrage. Ow. That Warden... yeah, the Champion Warden could have been pretty devastating. I might want to take down this Champion Snapper. Okay, gotta run. Champion Snappers are pretty friggin' dangerous because of their lance. Let me just burn these Serpent up with my Thruster. These mods I don't really need. Okay, Adaptive Armor is definitely a requirement for this build, because Solar Heart incurs self-damage, and Core Shielding is absolutely essential for self-damaging builds. Oh boy. If I go Grandeur, I'm gonna be pretty slow. But it does give me 6 levels, so I will take it. Strafe will be a temporary boost to help me get out of sticky situations. Fusillade is also kinda nice. Really increases my bullet count. Concentrated Blast. This will unlock the path to Antimatter rounds, which is very good for weapons that have a shit ton of projectiles, like my build here. Now this is another mod that'll incur self-damage. So I do have to be careful about it, but I do want Concentrated Blast for the moment. I also like Magnitude, obviously. Payload. And Channeling. Since I'm gonna be constantly firing, Rebuke is not gonna be the answer. Well, that's a quite lot of devastation. Right now, my ship's weapons range is kind of mediocre, but Absorption's more crucial because plating, which is possibly one of the most crucial things I need. It really helps out against those gyro guns which spam a lot of bullets. I'm not too sure if I've encountered them yet, but you gotta watch out for those small projectiles. if you don't have absorption, which is why I take it. Avoiding small projectiles gets kind of kind of strenuous if there's a lot of them. And there will be a lot of them later down the line, especially with shredder mines and such. I mean, against bigger projectiles, you just have to dodge. You should not tank large enemy projectiles unless absolutely necessary. Now this is interesting. I can go antimatter rounds, but this will incur self-damage. Bravado is also a good option, but it won't improve too much. This will be a heavy increase in DPS, but also incur self-damage. I will be taking this just because I want to cheese through Station Omega, which is the second boss of this game. And unlike Spitfire, Station Omega will always be, I mean, for the foreseeable future, be this level 40 boss. Unless Chimeric Studios, that's the developer of the game actually, unless Chimeric changes or adds an alternative level 40 boss, Station Omega is the only only type of boss that can show up on level 40. And Station Omega is special for being the largest enemy in the game. By far. Look at the size of this guy. He is much larger than the other enemies. And if you're a long-time Nova Drift fan, this guy actually used to be quite a lot smaller. And he was also a lot flimsier. I also should have watched out for self-damage, because I focused too much on narrating. It cost me the run. But I am gonna try again. By the way, I'll also add timestamps onto the video, so that if you find my speech patterns more boring, you can skip to the more juicy parts of the gameplay. Like I said, I'm still experimenting with my speech patterns and such. So don't expect it to be perfect. Expect some pretty severe flaws when compared to a more professional speaking YouTuber. Oh, hypermetabolism. It does rob me of my shields and my hull. They're reserved, which does hurt, but I regenerate quite a lot faster. Like, actually, a heck of a lot faster. 60% increased regen is not a joke. And there we go, Spitfire has shown up again. Another side weapon I can use is my Firefly's Thruster. Yeah, that's the burn damage alone. Firefly's Thrusters do quite a lot of damage. Okay, let me get magnitude. Okay, not yet. I need to stock up for Ataraxia. Watch out, watch out, ow! I am not very good with dealing with Hammerheads. And the worst part is, they'll only get faster from later levels onwards. I actually burned them with my thruster because, honestly, that seems to be more damage dealing than my weapon right now. It doesn't have any upgrades to it. Hence why flak isn't proving to be too powerful right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, flak is a very good starter weapon. The only other starter weapon that can be classified as better than flak as a starter weapon would probably be pulse. Now we can go crazy with upgrades. Yeah, there's Ataraxia. I won't go for another hyper metabolism. Reload this because the other upgrades weren't really necessary. Focus fire is good. Payload's also pretty nice, I guess. Now, I'm not gonna take Solar Heart this early on because I haven't built up much self-damage resistance. So I'm gonna take Rapid Fire. Fusillade. Warpath is also very good because I will probably be killing a lot of enemies constantly, which will add to war stacks, which increase my fire rate, which is always welcome onto a minigun build. And there is hull strength. As much as I like adaptive armor for leading the path onto core shielding, absorption is probably more necessary at this point. And next time I'm probably going to be more careful when picking up antimatter rounds early on, because I'm not too sure picking that up early on was a good idea. In hindsight, I don't think it was a good idea at all. Let's go to the other side and take these guys out. Later on, those Boltthrower get pretty darn nasty. Okay, these guys are showing up in small numbers, so I can take care of them pretty easily. Oh yeah, a champion host. Champion hosts are slower than regular hosts and elite hosts, but they fire lasers which have pretty much infinite range. I'm not too sure if they're actually infinite, but their range is pretty massive. And so you do have to take them out pretty quickly. I mean, like, the elite beamcaster actually does more damage with their lasers, but I still like to take care of those champion hosts before they fire those lasers. And yeah, we have these shredder mines, which I don't like. They're pretty good at killing runs, and I have lost a bunch of runs because of them. And speaking of run killing, this guy really is good at killing my runs, because these healing Myrmidons, the elite ones, they can heal. They heal Station Omega, and whenever they heal the enemy, Station Omega I mean, the game lags quite a lot for my computer. It's not very powerful. It only has integrated graphics, and although it's 8 GB of RAM, it only has integrated graphics. And is therefore not a gaming PC. It's not a gaming PC. It's not meant to game too much. And I'm not too sure about its CPU capabilities. Like, I know that Nova Drift is more CPU heavy than GPU heavy, but I'm not too sure about my CPU capabilities as well. I want to get adaptive armor right now. And one thing I also kind of find puzzling about armor stacks is like how they work. Like, they really don't seem to be all that effective. Really. Only core shielding seems to be a worthwhile mod in the adaptive armor mod tree. Like, only core shielding is worth picking up because it does offer freaking 20% self-damage resistance, which is quite a lot actually. And it does grant you a little bit of extra shields and hull. But I mean, that's secondary compared to the self-damage resistance you gain from it. Oh yeah, this guy's about to fire. We have a bit of a tough choice here because rapid reconstruction allows me to go for... makes me more durable It gives me a lot more regeneration for my hull. Obviously, I lose the shield, but I'm not really keen on keeping my shield. I made it standard for a reason. I wanted to focus on regenerating my hull instead of regenerating both my shields and my hull. I'm focusing on one aspect of my durability, not two of them. But on the other hand, burst fire is the second preliminary requirement for unlocking barrage. Right now I'd go for burst fire actually. Nice channeling. Let me just burn this serpent up because frankly I'm not too keen on dealing with them with just a freaking flak, which doesn't have much in the name of blast radius. I mean, it only has the first mod for that. Thankfully, I do get concentrated blast, but I'd rather get velocity at this rate because it'll improve my range and it'll slightly increase my damage. Very slightly, only 5%. Nothing too major. And there we go, barrage. Witness the power of flakling gun, aka flak barrage railgun. Flak barrage gun, really. And as you would know, this thing is known for its fire rate. Look at this. Like, you know about the GAU 8 Avenger from the A10. It's pretty much like that. I've pretty much turned my spaceship into an A10 Warthog. And in space, I don't have to worry about friendly casualties. Which is probably like the biggest downside of the A10. It causes a lot of friendly fire incidents. Otherwise, I'd say the A10 is pretty freaking badass. And yeah, core shielding, which is now improves my self-damage resistance to 35%. I still have a long way to go in terms of improving my self-damage resistance. Self-damage resistance, not actual self-damage. That'd be Solar Heart's job. And that's an Antimatter round's job as well. Oh yeah, I'm picking up the power now. This is pretty easy because Mastery increases your DPS by 15%. So overall, I will take it. It also makes my blasts a bit more powerful as well, because they're larger. And there comes Scion, which is the third boss. And like Station Omega, there is no alternative boss for Scion. Or Wave 60 right now. This guy's the only Wave 60 boss right now. I'm just fumbling my words around here. I'm really sorry, but like I said, I'm not too good with my words right now. And there we go. I'm actually gonna go for Defiance because these three are gonna come from Revelation, which does not banish mods. And Defiance gives me extra self-damage resistance and extra plating as well. In general, it's very good. It's a very good defensive mod. It may not provide a lot of defense additions, but it sure is good in variety. Okay, let me just burn this guy up. These champion serpents, they fire a laser, and those lasers are also pretty devastating. So the best way of dealing with a champion serpent, if you don't have Firefly or any explosive weapon any AoE build is shoot its head and keep on destroying its head, like the front part of it. If you destroy it in segments and attack it from the side, it'll just create more heads that can shoot out lasers, and is not fun to deal with. It's not fun to deal with at all. Now I'm gonna go for stabilization because strafe is another very good mod. Very good for mobility because you can just press a certain key. Right now for me it is shift. If I press shift, I can dash. And I have other keys set up to dash left, right, and so on. Agility is also pretty good because extra turn rate is also pretty good. Right now, let me just take down that Celestial. These guys are easy, they die in pretty much one shot. These guys are a little bit more challenging because they do damage to me when exploding. If the shrapnel hits me, I take quite a bit of damage. Not too much, but definitely something worth considering. Out of these mods, Force Armor seems to be pretty good because it improves my... It kind of improves my self-damage resistance by... I'm not too sure, but it doesn't actually improve self-damage resistance, but it does make my hull a lot sturdier, which indirectly affects my self-damage resistance. I'm actually not too sure about this, so take that with a grain of salt. But I'd say in general it is an okay mod to pick up. The big flaw with it is that it really doesn't affect your ship by a lot. It's really more for crashing builds than protecting yourself. Because now your crash has a blast radius. Which is pretty much, it's like blast radius but for crashing. And I also get efficiency because when I'm not firing, it'll improve my regen rate by a good margin. Okay, this guy seems to be a pretty tough Celestial. And that was obviously a champion Hammerhead. Oh look, it's those Swarmlings. Those guys also die in one shot, but if they are allowed to swarm around your ship, they can deal a considerable amount of damage. So be careful about them. And I'm now finally gonna go for rapid reconstruction. This will pretty much banish all the shield mods and will make mod searching easier. Now, just because I said banish doesn't mean it's gonna show up on the banish list, which has been added in the latest beta version. Okay, these guys could be troublesome because Boltthrowers can do a surprising amount of damage. These mods, aside from improved thrusters, none of them are really that great. Okay, these ones are slightly better, but I still pass. Still pass. Okay, strafe is what I want. Thank you. And yeah, this is the Wave 80 alternate boss. Instead of Warbringer, I got Crucible. And I really gotta say, this guy has a freaking fire soundtrack. I think I can take him down right now. Unless he charges up another shot again. And there we go. And yeah, speaking of alternative bosses, this is the Wave 20 alternative boss, which thankfully got eliminated by that meteor. Because Ceratotitan, which is the name of that boss, is surprisingly tough. He spawns in a bunch of minions and he does a lot of crash damage actually. His crashing ability is not to be underestimated. This sounds like no graph, because the theme that comes after that is one of my favorites actually. It's called Recursor. And you'll probably soon discover why it's my favorite. Admittedly, I do not know the ordering of the song, so some other song could play in place of Recursor. But I'll tell you if it's Recursor or not. For now, I'm gonna go Power Reserves because it grants me extra mobility. And yes, Barrage does incur mobility loss. It stated pretty clearly if you saw it while I was upgrading to Barrage. The text frigging red, for God's sake. Yeah, I did kind of skip over there too fast, I think, but yeah, it does incur mobility loss. And I want to counter that mobility loss by taking Power Reserves. Not gonna eliminate the mobility loss fully, but it'll reduce it. It'll diminish that effect by a good margin. Oh yeah, I'm also gonna take Adrenal Module because there is a synergy right now with hypermetabolism, because your reserved hull actually acts like damage, which makes Adrenal Module take effect and thus increase your weapon damage. I'm not too sure if it's a bug. I don't think it's bugged because it hasn't been fixed yet. Okay, I got some other mods. Concentrated Blast should be kind of cool because it's like increasing my DPS and opening up the door to Antimatter rounds. I do thankfully have better self-damage resistance than last time. And wow, I sure am speed running through these levels because I'm getting pretty close to level 100. Okay, wave 100 is here. Oh! Whoa! Admire the beauty of this thing. This is Glaucus, and this is the alternative 100 boss. And man, this thing is elegant. It's elegant and dangerous as well, because if I get sucked into that blue vortex, I will be dealt an incredible amount of damage. Basically, stay away from that thing. Wow! That could have gone badly. Oh, nice cargo train there. Ow! Yeah, these vortexes will also pull you in, just like the player's vortex, but more intense in terms of damage. And yeah, this is the fire breath. It doesn't do too much damage to me, but I'd say glass cannon ships have to watch out for that. I mean glass cannon builds. Right now I'm staying away from Glaucus to make my snipe effect. I have taken up snipe, which means If my bullets are... If I stay away farther, I should be doing more damage. But still, Glaucus is very tanky. He has the most health out of any enemy in the game by a long margin. Much more than Seraph even. And Seraph was also one of the tankiest enemies in the game before Glaucus showed up. And yeah, I know, Glaucus is actually a real-life animal, which looks majestic just like this thing. It has brighter colors, and it lives in the sea. And it's actually smaller than you think. Ow, 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 ow. I was getting pelted away by those smaller homing missiles of his. Okay, Venom Breath going away. The thing I'm worried about most is that massive vortex. That thing deals a crazy amount of damage and I have to stay away from it. These mods, I'm not too sure about. Okay, antimatter rounds. Let's go. Now this is incurring a bit of self-damage, but as long as I don't fire too rapidly, I think I can manage it. And there we go, this is Glaucus and he's dead. Okay, ironically enough, those tracers actually came closer to destroying me. Okay, circling around these tracers. I'm just gonna kill them, destroy these two idiots. Ow. Even the elite juggernauts are kind of dangerous because if they move around, like when they try to ram you with that, when they go on a full charge attack, they shoot out those orbs. Okay, this is not Recursor as I can recall. And if you're wondering why my damage is so great now, it is because antimatter rounds, instead of doing a percentile increase in damage, actually does a base damage increase, which synergizes very well with high projectile weapons, like lots of projectile weapons like flak. The downside obviously being the immense self-damage, but with self-damage resistance, it can be manageable. These mods are not what I want. I'd say improve thrusters right now because I don't really have a choice. What I want is obsession, because with that I can go crazy with defiance and masochism. Masochism is kind of a risky mod because it increases damage dealt to you by enemies, but it reduces self-damage by 8% per mod, which is double that of defiance, therefore making it more efficient. But I do have to be careful about it, because, you know, extra damage taken from enemies. Oh. It's Spitfire, which means I can deal with them easily. And these guys, Shredder Mines. Those guys are also a cakewalk. I'd actually go for Chaotic Ambition now, because I am wanting those wild mods. I'm pretty much done with regular mods. In fact, if I actually manage to get Explosive Growth, I'm actually gonna combine that with Chaotic Ambition and get 5 of them and be banished. Let me stay back. Ow, that was a heavy hit there. I'm not gonna take Twin Strike. The loss to regenerate is not worth it for just one extra projectile, which really doesn't benefit all that much for flak. Double tap could be decent, but I'd rather chase Obsession. I am chasing for Obsession. Unfortunately, it did not show up. Double tap it is. If there is one advantage I'd say Antimatter rounds has over Solar Heart, it is that you don't have to worry as much when picking up wild mods. If you take wild mods with Solar Heart, those wild mods will affect how much Solar Heart affects you, both positively and negatively. Oh, I am kind of taking a lot of damage, so let myself heal. Oh, I thought these guys have stopped spawning. Okay, let me regen properly again. And these guys are not fun to deal with. Yeah, those are the gyro guns. They spam bullets, and unless you have absorption, you are gonna have quite the time fending them off. Oh yeah, the vanguards can also be tricky to deal with if you're not careful. Nice, that's a pretty good trade. Now I'm gonna go for Bravado, obviously, because it'll improve my body gear powers. Sure, it's not too massive, but hey, I need all the help I can get. If I've been silent for too long, it is that I'm kind of concentrating on the game right now. But I do really want to thank you again for getting me to 400 subscribers. I really thought I wouldn't make it this far, because only like a few months ago, I was kind of small. Like, I really gotta thank you guys for getting me to 400 subscribers, because only like a year ago, I was probably like 100 subscribers at best. That's probably like my best estimate, and you guys have really helped me grow to this size. And I have gotten videos that have reached surprising amount of views, such as that one video with 80k views. How is that even possible? What the heck? I don't think it's supposed to happen to a channel as small as mine, unless that video really did something good. And so, I really gotta thank you again for getting me there. In any case, let's take masochism right now, because I don't want too many of those. Just enough to reduce my self-damage by a good margin. Right now, 63. Uh-oh. I can see this being a problem. Oh, I nearly landed upon those grenades. I really gotta watch out here over here. Which means it's silent time. took a hit there. I'm not dead, but I did take a hit. I did take a hit there. Time to take out these Hammerheads. Time to burn these guys as well. I will admit I went reckless over there, but it's just been fun to destroy snakes and watch them burn in segments. And yes, Recursor is playing my favorite theme. This is my favorite theme. So just me based on that, I guess. Not too sure, really. Probably gonna wait around until I get a reroll and find better upgrades, because those suck. Okay, this is very nasty. Oh, no, no, no. Damn, I bullied that bulwark real quick. But to be fair, they will bully you back if you hit them hard enough and you let them survive. Bully. Bully, bully. Now I have rerolls, and I can go for thank you, Obsession! And thank you, Evo Niche. Uh-oh. Ow! I am very close to dying. I don't like this. Let me recuperate. I am surprised one of them did not blow up in my face. No! On the plus side, I'm super close to, there we go, 1 million. 10 million would have been ridiculous, but finally get 1 million. Come on, Scion, get shredded. Collider synced. Another recognizable soundtrack of the game. Oh yeah, double masochism. I like that a lot because now my self-damage resistance is all the way at the top. I am not gonna go get any more self-damage resistance because there's actually a cap, which is around 78-79%. Let me check my damage. That's a lot. Let me shred apart this jugg. Oh, no, I don't like this. Get usurped, bulwark. I am the biggest threat right now. Okay, square rank one more Solar Heart because although the DPS is great right now, I could always use a little more damage. It really doesn't hurt too much to get more damage. Okay. Double tap, better than nothing. Because it improves my fire rate by a good margin. Now I also have to watch out for taking too many mods with Obsession because it'll reduce my hull by a little bit, but I really gotta watch out, otherwise it could take a toll on my durability overall in the long term. Not that I expect to survive the long term game, because I need Apotheosis for surviving late game Hammerheads, which moves so fastly that it's nearly impossible for humans to evade it with their regular reflex levels. You'd probably need to have like insane reflexes or straight up get Apotheosis to survive late game Hammerheads. Because, oh man, they are fast. I've seen videos of them, they are fast. Right now they're not too fast, I can still deal with them if I strafe away from them. but eventually they become ridiculous. And honestly, other enemies that tend to ram will also get pretty ridiculous, such as vanguards. It's obviously these guys which are the most ram happy. Ow! I fell for that explosion. Uh-oh, it's a champion juggernaut. These guys are very tanky. Okay, I'm actually shredding him apart. Ow, ow, ow! Those orbs do a lot of damage. And so do their missiles. Let me regenerate. Come on, champion Myrmidon, destroyed! Oh yeah, the extra double taps. Not that I'm gonna benefit from getting extra defiance because I've already maxed out my self-damage as I stated earlier. Self-damage resistance. I always confuse the two actually. I just cannot pronounce resistance too much. Ow! Oh no! And there goes my run. It was pretty decent until it came to these guys, which to be fair are a dangerous combination, even for veterans. Aw man, I couldn't catch that pretty sweet looking cargo train. And there you go. That is Nova Drift. Remember that there are many more build combinations than just this. You can really go haywire with the builds you can make. And the game gets very interesting depending on what build you make. Overall, it is definitely worth picking up on Steam. Not to mention that the community Discord on there is very good. I've made a lot of friends over there, and you can actually talk to me if you want to. I'll actually link the Discord down in the description below. So there you have it, Nova Drift. My name is Excalibur Heavy Battle Cruiser again, and as always, may the forks be with you all.